of My Village is a narration of her own personal experiences of growing up in this particular area. In the book, she also shares some of the chronicles and struggles icons from Maviljan, and it is surrounding areas played part in their fighting the Apartheid regime by forming an ANC underground unit that facilitated some of Umkhonto We Sizwe's daring raids in the Mpumalanga Lowveld. Well, Mme Mashego is a freedom fighter and a political activist. She now joins me here in studio to shed more light on her story as she shares it in this offering. It's great to have you on the show. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Pearl, and good morning.
You could have written a book about anything because your life as it is has been colorful, filled with so many different experiences. And yet you chose to write about the place where you're from, your village. Why is that?
The village is very dear to my well-being because that's where I spent the whole of my youth life,
yeah,
and the whole of my professional life as a teacher at a school known as Maviljan High School. And that's where, things were happening at that school because professionally that has been our incubator with my colleagues. Many of them are now retired, like myself. But also it has contributed a lot to being an incubator, a political incubator, where we studied a lot about politics and we shared a lot about our struggle for freedom in that school.
Now, for the benefit of our viewers who are probably hearing about this village for the first time, won't you sort of paint a picture for us about the type of place that it is and looking at what was happening in the dark days, where your village fit and the kind of activity that was happening around there?
Maviljan is a village in Bushbuckridge. It is 88 kilometers probably from Nelspruit northwards. It's on a plateau, a beautiful place, which is surrounded by the Drakensberg range. So the climate there is very good. And people there are entrepreneurial in their nature, in the fact that, in every family, there is, in the yard, there is an orchard. You will find that there are various kinds of fruits, vegetables, and therefore many of our people there are capable of utilizing the land and using their hands. But for now, I think that entrepreneurial spirit is going down, and I think that is why in the exposition of the book, I actually exposed the fertile soil of the area so that our people can take, especially the younger generation, can take advantage of that particular soil and be able to be entrepreneurial and beat the triple sins that we have of unemployment, poverty, and inequality.
Let's speak about the political activity that was happening in your village, in the struggle for liberation. What are some of the things that you would observe on a daily basis? What were you involved in? I know you were quite the fighter.
Yes, it has been a wonderful experience, although dangerous, in the sense that at the school, behind the school, there were teachers' quarters, and that is where we used to have our guerrilla fighters that would come through Mozambique and skip the fence and then ultimately land in Bushbuckridge. And we were the hosts of such fighters that came back for several missions. So at the back of the school, where the teachers were staying, Comrade M.D. Maja, Comrade, I can't remember all of them, but Maja was one of those comrades, and there was Comrade T.P. Chilwane, and other comrades that were there, we formed a unit.
Yes.
That was called the Ngwarejani unit. That was an underground cell that was formed basically by the 6 of us. I think it's Maja, it's Chilwane, it's Rapule Matsane, it's Winston Mashua, it's myself. I can't remember the last one because it's quite long.
Yeah. And what did you guys do outside of hosting your comrades who would sort of come in and out of the country? How did you guys organize yourselves and sort of be involved in the nitty-gritties of what was happening within your own village?
You know, during that time, it was very dangerous. So we were using, pseudo language, because we were operating at a school, for instance. While we were busy with our professional duties, at the same time, we would be, talking about what's happening in the country. And normally we would remain at the end of the school hours, and then we would, indulge in our own operations as members of the ANC by then. And we would then liaise with Comrade Rapule Matsane, who was in and out of Teflop as a student teacher, but coming back time and again. So we were actually connected to the UDF operations that were led by people like Comrade Popo Mlefe, Comrade Me Albertina Sisulu, Comrade Trevor, Manuel, and the others. So we were very, very active, but underground. At the same time, we were under spotlight in the sense that the Eastern Transvaal Division of the Special Branch was aware of our operations, because they had planted a lot of informers at the school, and we were aware, but because we were convicted to the cause, to the liberation of our country, we did not fear anything. Yes.
May, thank you so much for your story. Unfortunately, we are out of time today, but I would listen to you speak all morning long. And a beautiful life story that you've had, although quite difficult. So thank you very much for your bravery. And thank you so much for this book, where you share a little bit of your village with the rest of us. A big thank you to our guest author this morning, Mme Ditebogo Mashego, for joining us this morning to talk about her debut memoir, Maviljan, Through the Streets of My Village. We're going to take a quick break now. Do stay with us here on Morning Live.